Well, welcome back to another exciting interview. Today we have Iris Patterson, so we're really excited to have her with us. My name is Gabriel. I'm a Light Leader podcast host. And Iris, if you want to take a couple minutes to introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Iris Patterson. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and licensed clinical massage therapist. I'm the founder of Chicago Integrated Health. We are a lifestyle intervention practice where we integrate nutrition, mental massage therapy, and fitness to combat anxiety, stress, and lifestyle diseases.
Thank you. Could you share with us your background? What was it like growing up? Was nutrition an important part, or how do you get into that?
No, nutrition was not an important part of like my childhood. My family grew up eating terrible, but the food was delicious. So, we grew up on soul food. It's cultural. We fried chicken. We, make candy yams, sweet potatoes. My grandmother really loved using sugar in everything from tuna mac to chili to
Mm,
spaghetti.
nice.
I grew up thinking that, sugar went in everything and it doesn't, but so Granny loved it, and ultimately it killed her. Hypertension, and my grandfather had strokes, and Granny had strokes, and even though we knew that it wasn't the greatest for us, it's what we ate every day.
Yeah. At what point do you maybe see that you're like, well, maybe this is not as healthy as maybe I would like? Like what was that point where you're like, I want to go into nutrition, which seems pretty different from like what you grew up with in terms of eating and habits. So at what point do you decide to go into that?
Well, the turning point for me was my grandmother's best friend, who was also affectionately known as my aunt, and godmother. Um, she died from diabetes. I watched her die a slow death. She lost her vision. She had congestive heart failure, heart disease. The heart disease, eventually it was paralysis after that. She couldn't walk. The diabetes attacked her body every single way that it could. And seeing that, seeing that and seeing other people in my church die from other lifestyle diseases, like cancer is a lifestyle disease. It's, you have colon cancer and breast cancer. You can eat your way into those things because carcinogens, meaning that they cause cancer, bad foods, processed foods, and everything. So I saw that, and I said that I wasn't losing my mother, who has been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And so I wanted to be the voice of reason and create a safe space for people to not only feel not to feel ashamed when they come to me, but to feel like I can help and assist in these things and in a way that I care. And that's when I went into nutrition. I love health. Been a massage therapist for 11 years, and it segued me into other, facets of being able to help people feel healthy.
Wow. So it seems like, part of your journey was like interrelated with like seeing some of the effects of not healthy and then kind of going into starting eating healthy and like that kind of started your passion for that. Um, so you mentioned a little bit about cancer being a lifestyle disease. Could you share a little bit more about that?
Lifestyle diseases are diseases that aren't autoimmune, where you can be born with this thing or it just develops, where we literally, our environment turns this on. So we are born with genes, genes that our parents have given us, genes that our grandparents have given us. Based on our lifestyle, we can turn it on or off. So let's just take say your grandmother, your mother was born with cancer, and you might have that gene. Depending on the environment that you're living in, if you're living in a stressful environment, your day to day is toxic. You're smoking and drinking every day. You're eating a bunch of processed foods that can harm you. You can potentially turn that gene on, but if you are somebody that is working out every day, you're eating plant-based whole foods, where these are foods that help heal. You are, living a happy life and carefree. You eliminated toxic situations. You can live with that gene your entire life and not turn it on. So sometimes these diseases are birthed merely out of our environment and have nothing to do with our parents' genes. A person can develop a type of cancer and nobody in their family had it. So lifestyle diseases is really the person's environment creating and controlling the trajectory of their health through whatever decisions that they make, whether they eat right or not.
Okay. So how would you say people's genes play into that? Because I know you mentioned that lifestyle is quite important. Um, but would you say that do you still think there's a way for people to prevent getting those diseases, even if it is hereditary?
Absolutely. So that's where we come in. So we are a lifestyle intervention practice, meaning that we help you prevent what could develop, or we intervene if you're already in the middle of a disease. Just because you have this condition or this disease does not necessarily mean you would have it forever. It just really depends on how serious you are when you take your health into account. So, for instance, with we talked about prevention. So if we know that we're looking at our vitals, we go and we get our blood drawn, and the doctor says, well, your blood pressure is a little high, your cholesterol, it's a little high. You need to. Your doctor is going to tell you this. He's going to say, hey, you need to cut back on the processed foods. You need to exercise. Watch your cholesterol, blah blah blah, and then he'll sing you on. So you have that information, but a lot of times we deal with situations where we don't really know what to do when we walk into the kitchen and how to fix that. And so, but what he gave you was a lifestyle intervention plan. You may not have it fully written out, but it is up to you. So, because if you don't take that into account, if you don't listen, then the high cholesterol and the hypertension can turn into something else. It can turn into heart disease. It can turn into having, strokes and all of that. So, when the doctor run your lab and he says, hey, do something about it, you should. That's where intervention comes in.
It's I'm hearing a lot about living the right lifestyle, but also knowing how to implement that by visiting like the right professionals. Would you say that it's important to uh get tested for certain diseases that may be hereditary?
Sometimes your insurance is like, we don't have enough information to pay for that. But yes, you want to look out for that. Because what ends up happening is if you're not careful, you will start being placed on medication. Now, that's a whole nother monster because the side effects that come with medication is ridiculous. And so that's where I come in as a holistic nutritionist, where I teach you how to eat to heal, how to take the nature's medicine. Nature's medicine is fruits and vegetables. They have phytonutrients. A It's literally plant medicine. It's your vitamin K and vitamin A and all of these other nutrients and everything that's wrapped up in these veggies. As you eat them, your body processes it and it takes what it's given it and it heals. But your body does the same thing if you eat bad food. It takes what you give it and put it in there and do whatever it do, and then it kills you if you're not careful. And so you really want, to seek out the right professional that can help you based on what your goals are. Maybe your goals aren't to eat fruits and veggies. Maybe your goal is to exercise, and figure out a lifestyle change using just that. Because you have people that exercise and go and eat a cheeseburger, and so they lose a couple of pounds. They're like, oh, I got to change the way I eat. Yeah, you still do. It hasn't caught up with you yet. But you have to really decide, do I want to go to the physicians, get medication? Do I want to do it a more holistic way? So it's all based on preference.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that. I think it's I really like how you talk about holistic medicine. Uh could you share with us what is holistic medicine and yeah, just a little bit about that.
Sure. Um, so you have a naturopath, you have a holistic nutritionist, and all of that. What we do is take herbs or foods, whole foods, plant-based whole foods, depending on the profession. I talk about plant-based whole foods. A naturopath takes herbs, and create tinctures and droplets and teas and all of that. And based on what the diagnosis you were given, they will create a natural plan for you. They might say, drink this tea several times a day, take this herb, in a capsule or or a tincture and droplets under your tongue, and take this. They prescribe using herbs. So you have doctors that prescribe using pills. You have naturopaths and stuff that prescribes using herbs. Then you have me as a holistic nutritionist that teach you and about the different nutrients in the food and help you create a plan around that. And then you go and you create a meal plan based on the information that I gave you to help heal.
Oh, I think that's really cool. Like I know there's many different types of professionals in the holistic medicine space. Would you say that holistic medicine is because I've heard this before, holistic medicine is lifestyle, or is it also like lifestyle and like nutrition, or what would you what's your opinion on
you
that?
know, it's definitely a lifestyle. It's a different belief. You have to believe that the red bell pepper, is going to have enough nutrients in your salad to heat. It's definitely a lifestyle, and it's a switch. I don't knock Western medicine, the pills, fully. There's a place for that. We have a great healthcare system if you're about to die. You know, they're gonna save your life. They're gonna sew you up. They go pump you with medicine. They go take life-saving measures. We definitely have that. But when it comes to preventative medicine, that's where we kind of drop the ball. So if you have a chronic disease, a chronic situation, let's just say that you have chronic back pain, chronic headache, um, you know, you are depressed, you're not feeling well at all. You go to the doctor. If you're not dying, they go take your vitals, they go run some tests, and they go say go home, rest up. Here's some Advil, and see you if you're dying. They won't even say see you in 6 months. They just, but if my arm is falling off, they like, I got you. Come on, lay on this table. We go sew you up, and we go send you
Yeah.
home. So you, so we're the in between, and it's definitely a lifestyle, but it's still a medicine that a lot of people aren't really familiar with. So all we know is to go to our primary care. But the in between, because it's not covered by insurance, you have to pay out of pocket for this. It's not necessarily the first go to. You have to prepare and be committed to this and be willing to pay cash and not use your insurance, until one day that it is covered by healthcare, but it's like they can't make any money off of it because I'm not giving you no pharmaceutical drugs. They're not going to cover it. That's a whole nother conversation. So, they want you to continue to take the drugs so they can continue to take money. They continue, to make money.
Yeah.
But we're actually taking money away from them because I'm telling you to eat fruits and vegetables and not take 500 milligrams of this other stuff that's going to cause other situations where you're going to need other pills. It's a cycle, so they ain't happy with us, but if a person make a decision to come here, it would be the best decision for them.
Yeah, it seems like it's holistic medicine is very proactive, especially holistic nutrition. So how do you get into learn like getting an education in holistic nutrition? Are there schools or like certifications?
Yes. So it's online certification. It's a year and a half. It's rigorous study. We still study pathologies, which is different diseases. We still study anatomy, about the muscles and the bones and all of that. We still study those things because it's extremely important. I need to know the inner workings of the body. We study physiology, which is the nervous system and all of that. And, so yeah, we still study those things. It's rigorous, it's intense, you know, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah, it seems like you have a lot of passion for this and you really enjoy this. I know what makes it worthwhile for you, like being able to being in this space. What 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 do you enjoy about it?
When my clients say, Iris, I'm not on insulin anymore, you know, uh, um, that was the latest. No, that wasn't the latest. The latest was a client who had chronic inflammation. She had edema, which is swelling in her ankles, and it was from her having um, high blood pressure. And so she sent me a before and after photo, and the inflammation is gone. Like she said, my ankles, I cannot believe it. Like they're normal again, And I just taught her how to eat. But yeah, one of my clients is no longer insulin dependent, and it took 9 months for us to get here. She, when we first sat with one another, she was literally crying, and that's for real. She was crying. And the last words that she said to me before we logged off was, "I just want to live." Because she had multiple diagnoses, and she was on oxygen when she was talking to me, and she has heart disease and all this other stuff. And I'm like, "You're going to live. You're going to live. We're going to do this." And so she was 100% a little lazy, because I was just dog tired. But I'm like, she just gives me life, just the way she go hard for her own. And I remember when she called me crying. She called me crying again. But I said, "Are these happy tears or sad tears?" She's like, "No, these are happy tears." I'm like, "Okay, what's going
Okay,
on?"
good.
And she was no longer diabetic, according to her numbers. So A1C is, if you're diabetic or not. And so her A1C was a 10. Your A1C, if it's above a 5.7, you are in pre-diabetes stages, and then like over 7, you're in diabetic stages. She was a 10. So, when I think it was 9 months later, she was like, "Iris, I'm a 5.4." So she was under. I'm like, "Oh my God,
Wow.
like this really works." So I'm like, I was
What kind of
amazed
magic is
too.
this?
I'm like, "Oh my God, that really worked." So, but what she did was, she really adopted the full thing. I told her, I said, "If you really want to turn this around, a lot of people aren't into this, but if you really want to do this, we're gonna go full plant-based whole food." So you have a lot of vegan junk food out here. You got deep fried mushrooms and Italian beefs and stuff. But I'm like, "No, we are going roasted vegetables. We are going low sodium. We are eating plant milk. We are going all the way. Are you willing?" She said, "I am." And she kept that up. And it's textbook. If a diabetic goes plant-based whole foods for at least 9 months, they can eat their way out of diabetes. And she did it at that 9.5 months. So, it's stories like that where she didn't even know if she was gonna live, to where this girl is taking selfies on Facebook. She hid for years. She will only show the neck up. She died. So it's like her confidence is back. She is friends where she didn't even go anywhere. So yeah.
That's an amazing story. So it seems like holistic nutrition is really helping people with their physical health. But what would you say holistic nutrition's impact, like eating healthy and following the practices that you share with us, what impact would you say that they have on mental health?
Well, the impact that we have is we educate. The other part of that story is she and I worked one on one with each other for only 3 months. She repeated the other 6 months. So I said that I'm going in, I'm going to teach you how, because I don't want to create a codependency. Meaning, if God forbid, if anything happened to me that next day, that this woman might die because I didn't teach her how. I was just feeding her, do this, do that, do that, but not talking about why. Why are we eating red bell peppers over green bell peppers? Because red bell peppers have more nutrients in it longer. So it's like, why are we cooking our broccoli where it still has a crunch? and not till it's mushy, because if you cook it down to where it's mushy, the nutrients are dead, they're gone, the broccoli is dead. You want the food alive, so teaching her how to do these things is what strengthened her, and it's really how she got out of it, because she took the tools that I gave her and created her own lifestyle intervention plan that works best for her. Because what works for this person may not work for this person. Me telling someone to eat almonds who has a nut allergy, they don't know where else to get protein because I never taught them. So it's like, that's where the impact comes in. Forever, this woman has tools to live a healthy lifestyle. And as she continues to rinse and repeat, she can reverse other diseases that's going on. She can probably, heal her heart. So she was invited to do a speaking engagement at the congestive heart clinic, because they were amazed. They were like, "You still working with that lady?" That's what they call me, that lady. So and that's what her doctor called her when he said, when he was like, "Man, you know what that is? You still working with that lady?" She was like, "Yeah, Iris." So I hope they call me one day. Give me some more of
Yeah.
your clients. But that's the impact. Forever, she would know how to take care of herself.
Wow, that's amazing, and it seems like the impact of living healthy and understanding the principles of that is it can never be underestimated. What would you say are your like three favorite foods to eat?
So I love the yellow kiwi. It is super sweet over the green kiwi. I love that. I love making smoothies with banana and oatmeal, and I make my own plant milk. So I love that. Um, the third food that I can eat all the time are lentils and brown rice. I absolutely love lentils. They taste like black eyed peas because I like black eyed peas too. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, those are good. I actually just using lentils like 6 months ago. They're pretty good, especially like the just depending on like how you season them. It's
Yeah.
actually it tastes good.
And they're high in protein and fiber. So you get like a two for
Yep.
one kind of thing when you eating those lentils. They're
Yeah, so I mean, I use like lentils, and then I'll go in with like quinoa too. So there's like get my proteins, fibers, acids,
absolutely.
superfoods. Yeah, so that's super cool. Yeah, those all really sound like really good foods. I didn't think about yellow kiwi.
Yeah,
That's even
try
different.
it. It's delicious. It's really sweet. I just slice it in half and then I take a spoon and eat it out the skin. It's so good. I
Okay,
don't
so,
waste my time trying to peel that skin. Don't do that.
oh
Just take
yeah, no. So
a
all viewers out there, definitely try yellow kiwis. They're they're really good. Um, so what were some obstacles you faced getting into like starting your business?
um, so it took a year and a half for me to start Chicago Integrated Health. So the other uh, services we offer mental health therapy. So we have mental health professionals, different clinicians that work with our clients. One of the things that it's mandatory that if you work with me, you have to work with a therapist, because nutrition is more behavioral than it is anything else. So you're going to eat based on how you feel. Like if you're dealing with triggers, depression and stuff like that, you're not necessarily going to pick up a veggie. You're going to pick up a comfort food if that's been your norm. So we want to deal with trauma. How did we get here? You know, how did you end up obese? Have you been eating your feelings all of your life? What traumas did you deal with in your childhood? So, we want to take care of that while I take care of the food side of things. because what happens in my sessions is if they're not seeing a therapist, we end up in a whole different scope. And I'm like, this is out of my scope, because as I'm checking in, you're telling me about, how you hate your job, and your supervisor ticked you off and you want to fight, and then you crying, and it's like, I'm here for vegetables, but so so I'm like, did you see so but I do life coaching too. So, but the lines can get blurred very easily, because if we're talking about something more clinical, the biggest one, this was, it wasn't funny, but it was like, okay. So, I'm on a Zoom with my client, because we're 100% telehealth. That means that everything is virtual. Just like I'm talking to you, I work with my clients this way. And we're talking about veggies. We made it there. And then she paused and she looked at her phone. She said, "Oh, I think they said my brother died." Okay, but I don't care. But let's keep talking. No, we don't pause here so you can text your therapist and make an appointment. Okay, we're not gonna glaze over if your brother died because you mad at him and he's dead. We're not doing that. So kind of that's where we are. And that person was dealing with a lot of stress and anger and everything. So, it's necessary for them to have a very a good, well-rounded community and support system with us. And what that meant for me was, we need to get on board with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So we need to get get contracted with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We need to get contracted with United Healthcare. And so getting those contracts was difficult because I didn't know how to even apply. I didn't even know where to go. I didn't even know the verbiage to type into the search engine in order to find a contract. So I literally had to start there. And so we spent all of 2020 getting ready behind the scenes, and then by 21, we had our contracts, and then it was like, okay, how do you bill insurance? I don't know. And there was nobody to call. So we had to figure that part out, and that took another 6 months. And so that's why it really took like a year and a half. And then when we billed insurance, it was like, oh, we're not paying that. So I need to figure out why they wasn't paying that. So that was another few months. So it was very difficult not knowing, because I had to figure this stuff out on my own. Thankfully, I have my mother. So we are a family practice. She's my clinical director. So she's over clinicians. My mother is a psychotherapist. And so, we together, we work beautifully together. I love my mother. We work amazing, together. And but it was big things like that, trying to figure out how to turn my vision. And that was the other thing, Gabriel. What I envisioned, I didn't see before. So where you can grab someone else's blueprint and kind of build an infrastructure that's similar. No, I had not seen this before. So I'm literally creating something out of my brain and trying to articulate it to people what it is. And I'm still learning what to call it, And so it was a lot trying to do that. So now we're still piecing things together, but we're doing really well. We have a very handsome client base for us. We just onboarded 3 new clinicians. So things are going well. We just ran our very first payroll through Paychex. That's a big win, because most small businesses bill their employees money and then don't really know how to account for it when it's time to sit down with your account. So it's like, and I did that. So it's like we're official, so it's a huge thing.
Wow, congratulations on that. What does the future look like for your company and your business?
The future is this. We getting ready to launch a type 2 clinic. I found that most of my clients are dealing with diabetes. We do have some that have not been diagnosed. They are here for other reasons. But my heart is really with type 2. And so, because we have a whole food line that I really haven't talked about outside on social media like that. I talked about it a little bit on social media, but it's not ready. And so, my whole food line is going to be called type 2 food. It's going to be something very simple. At first, I called it four pillars, and I didn't really fall in love with that. It was like, but everything that we created, my mother, the way that I look at things is, and the way that I write recipes, coming and everything, um, can mother eat it? That's like that's where I gauge. That's my marker, So I'm like, if it's really that tied to type 2, why don't I call it type 2 food? So yes, we're launching a type 2 clinic. We're going to be doing some in-person workshops, and I'm going to have my first conference maybe sometime next year for type 2 diabetes, really teaching people what I taught my client, what I'm constantly teaching my mother, what I'm teaching my aunt, her sister who has type 2. Even though I thank God, I've not been diagnosed with that, but my heart is there because my heart is keeping, it's saving my mother and my aunt. That's where it is. And so I take that same passion and I pour it into my clients who are also dealing with that. So that's the future. Under Chicago Integrated Health, our type 2 clinic. It's going to be online. It's going to be you're going to be paying subscription, and you'll have access to wide range of video libraries of workout videos, cooking videos, how to create a lifestyle intervention plan for yourself. You'll still be able to book me one on one live, but it's not the way it's set up now, where my clients see me weekly and we create a plan and the strategy for the week for their health, and what that looks like is different for everybody.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that sounds like a really bright future. So to all our viewers out there, stay tuned for more amazing things from Iris. Can you tell us what would your advice be to people who want to uh, get into holistic nutrition?
Find the online program that works best for you. It's self-study online. You might find an in-person school. That was hard for me, because I'm addicted to social media. So if I'm studying, I'm probably gonna click over to TikTok, like every 10 minutes. So that was a struggle. But be ready to be committed. It's not for the faint at heart either, because you have people that are in different stages. Some people that think they're ready, they're not ready. And then you have some that might be ready a little bit. Then you have some like my client, like, I'm ready. So those that aren't ready, that thought they were ready until they sat with you and saw the work that lies ahead and the commitment that lies ahead, and some accountability, but I'm not next to you swapping, knocking a hot dog out your hand, and the hot dog, or whatever donut. You got to do this yourself. It's like, oh, that's too much for me. And then there's resistance because they're in denial, or they're angry at their situation and they take it out on you. I've dealt with all of that. The last time, so the people that don't want to do. So it's like you're dealing with multiple personalities and you cannot take it personal. So it's the addiction. It's with any addiction. You're dealing with people that just don't really want to commit to the work, and they're going to fight you every step of the way. And you have to make a decision. Are we going to go on with this relationship or not? Maybe we need to dissolve it. But I used to take it personally because I found myself wanting it more than my client. And that's never a healthy relationship. They have to want it more. And you guide them and you're there for them, but you're not there to do the work for them. So if you're gonna go into this, it's like it's with any other coaching program, whatever it looks like. You have to find your place in it and keep healthy boundaries. Study, never stop reading because I have a big library. Never stop reading. I have a few books that I'm getting ready to read. I'm getting ready to do another certification, because the more tools I have, the better I can be of service to those who need me.
Yeah, it seems like holistic nutrition is all about constantly like learning new things and like re-engaging with that education. Would you say like the education never stops? Would that be fair to say?
It never stops and it shouldn't. And that's with anything that you do in life. You should always, you have your hairdresser that haven't taken a continuing education course in 20 years and they do the same hairstyles, and it worked with the small clientele. It worked for them, maybe like your 80-year-old grandmother who want to keep the same style. But you cannot be, you won't be appealing to a new client who wants the latest style. So the information is forever changing. New research is popping up, you know. So you really want to be in tune with these things because what people do, especially in the diet industry, is keep up with the latest fad diet. Now they're drinking chia seed water. So it's like, I'm like, are you kidding me? But I need to know what's out there so I can do my own research and say, oh, chia seeds has a ton of fiber. It has the most fiber. Are you drinking a bunch of fiber? I guess it's not a terrible thing, but they want a quick fix on weight loss. And what they're doing is the chia seed water is supposed to make you go to the bathroom. Well, that's why I need to educate my client. You're losing 10 pounds of stool, not 10 pounds. So I need to be able to educate them. So I'm reading different stuff, reading articles, blogs, but books because I need to back it with science. Everything is evidence based with me. I don't do mumble jumble. I don't do gimmicks. I don't do that because that's not lasting. And these quick fixes, but what I do want to put out there with the quick fixes is this: you're cheating yourself on so many levels. You're cheating yourself on getting to know your ticks, getting to know what make you run and eat the bad stuff, what keep you on track with the good stuff, so you're getting to know you as a totally different person on this lifestyle change. And then you also cheating yourself out of listening to your body, what it likes, what it doesn't like, what make you gassy, what keep you bloated. You didn't know this because you walked around like that all the time and you didn't know that it was cheese, because it's dairy and dairy causes inflammation and all this other stuff. So it's like, the more information you have about you, the more you can commit to you and see positive changes and long lasting changes. But I couldn't tell him that if I wasn't reading. So you have to constantly, educate yourself. So the more knowledge you have, of course, the more power you have, but more importantly, the more you can support the people that you're here to support.
That's great. I think it's always important to empower yourself because the only thing that knowledge is going to do is empower you, and so that's great. You mentioned that. What would your advice be to people who are tuning in and listening?
You were breaking up. Can you repeat that, please?
what would your advice be to people who are tuning in and watching the show?
So my advice would be this. One, you really want to put your health first, because if you're healthy, then you can be available for family. You can be available to live a better quality of life. You don't have to be religious with these things, but eat more fruits and vegetables than you do anything else. Eat more fresh fruits and vegetables than you do anything else. So if you are somebody that loves cheeseburgers, have cheeseburger on Friday, and maybe you eat healthy throughout the week, and then give yourself something on Friday. You can go to, Wendy's. I love Wendy's 4 for 4. So have it on a Friday, but don't eat it all day. Don't eat out all day. So it's just that if you arm your body with the proper nutrients, it can ward off infection, it can ward off disease, your immune system will be better. But if you have a weakened immune system, if something was to occur, your body cannot fight. You didn't give it tools. You did not give it, you know, weapons to be able to fight off disease. It's weak. Your army is weak. So the more fruits and vegetables you eat, the stronger your army is when it's to fight off disease and infection or whatever. So I want you to think of it that way. That's why with the weakened immune system, if you people this COVID thing, those who they said weren't taking, they had low levels of vitamin D and all this other stuff. COVID really took them under. So you need a good immune system, period, in order to have a healthy and prosperous life and health, period.
That's that's very important. And what's one food that you would absolutely avoid?
Cheese, dairy. So it's not a food, it's a group of food. It's dairy. Causes inflammation. Dairy, our body just don't metabolize it right. So if you can eliminate, if you really want to eliminate something and you wasn't sure what it is, I pick that. There are alternatives. I make my own almond milk here at home. Some people say, "Oh, girl, that's too much. I'm not doing that." So you can go and get some almond milk from the grocery store or whatever. I'm all about controlling the ingredients that go in my body. When we were meal prepping for our clients, we made everything. We made the broth that we cooked the food in. We created anti-inflammatory broth and then put our rice in there and made brown rice. You know, when we made some tacos for them, and it was some veggie tacos. And then I'm okay with seafood. I like seafood, but so I'm go between pescatarian and vegan. But we made our own taco sauce because we wanted to control the sugar. Another thing, I'll give you another one: white sugar. Avoid that.
Mm.
Inflammation. People with arthritis should not be eating white sugar. It inflames it. My daddy has arthritis and he loves paydays. And he walk around, ouch, ooh. I said, I told you, stop eating them paydays. It's a payday. So you don't want that. I'll give you another one. White table salt. You want pink Himalayan salt. One, it's so potent. You only need a little bit of it, and it also has other minerals in it. But that white table salt, get rid of that. Don't do that. Inflammation. And so these are the foods that you want to really look out for. So those are my top three, which it gives me reason to make my own stuff from scratch here. Yeah. So
That's it seems like it's very important to stay away from those. And seems like doing a lot of stuff from scratch is really helpful for healthy eating. So where can people find you if they want to learn more about your business or potentially become a client? Where can they find you?
So they can find me. Oh, and I want to answer something. When I take something away, I like to give you something. So if you're not going to do white table sugar, you're going to do date sugar. You're going to do monk fruit sugar. They are low glycemic. They don't raise blood sugar levels, meaning diabetics can have it. Just want to put that there. Oh, and agave, diabetics can have that too. It's low glycemic. But they can follow me at Chicago Integrated Health on Facebook. They can do a Google search, Chicago Integrated Health. Our website is integratedhealthchicago.com. They can also call us on our business line at 773-234-75.
Oh, great. And thank you so much for another great interview. For more interviews, stay tuned and follow our YouTube channel. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Davian will cut